Shaun Alexander, former Seattle Seahawk, a really good running back, talks about the running back position, like we were just talking about, and talks about why teams have devalued that position.
Football has always been about if the running back gets 100 yards, if he scores a touchdown, especially if it's a touchdown in the fourth quarter, the team usually wins. That has still not changed, but the value of it, people are playing the percentages, which is if you give a running back enough carries, he will eventually get hurt because that's just the law of average. They've devalued that financially where, like, the best running backs, they get rid of so quickly that they don't give the player enough to be able to be with one team and really make that big whopping dollar amount that they should.
It's interesting. I thought about Bijan last year, who had the fourth most carries in the league last year. And you want to feed him.
Right.
And continue to get the rock in his hands because he's that good of a football player. But how long can he stand up and handle that? And I see the guy, he gets hit hard, but he never seems to stay down on the ground at all. I mean, he's put together.
And then year 5 or 6, what do you do when it's time to start talking about a big money contract when you have a guy who you've used him a lot, and he has a lot of carries and a lot of hits on his body early on in his career?
Well, it's already crazy. At the end of this season, you have to make the determination on the fifth-year option. Now, you're obviously going to give him the fifth-year option, or at least I would think so, as long as he,
Do you know what the top running back's making right now?
$20 million.
Right at 20.6 annually. That's
goodness.
Saquon Barkley.
That's not too far off from what Adrian Peterson was making about
10 years ago,
9 years ago in the NFL.
20 a year?
Yeah.
AP was getting like 18, wasn't he?
So they haven't valued that position over the last few years. And I get it, unless you're elite, you look at Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry is the elder statesman. He's continued to produce and get paid, but teams are dumping running backs and going with running back tandems now. But if you have one of those top 3 guys, is it better for you to keep them? I mean, if the Giants in an alternative universe were in a better place, would you rather have Saquon Barkley? Yeah, the answer is yeah. Look at what he did with Philadelphia. That was a much better team.
Here's Adrian Peterson's contracts. It wasn't quite 18. The first one was 5 for 40, which was his rookie scale. His first big contract, he got a 6-year, $86 million deal. It's about $15 million a year. Then he re-upped 3 for 42, which was $14 million, and then it just fell off a cliff after that when he went to the Saints and the Redskins and everywhere else.
Yeah, it's a tough position to pay because of the injuries and not getting the production out of him. Christian McCaffrey's at 19, Derrick Henry at 15, Jonathan Taylor is the youngest at 26-year-old at $14 million per year.
Right.
So there's only 6 guys making over $10 million.
Are you kidding me? There's only 6?
Yep.
What do you think about this?
That's ridiculous.
What do you think about this? And maybe we'll do it when we get to a conversation about salary cap and quarterbacks, because that's your issue right now in the NFL, what you have to pay quarterbacks, an elite quarterback, to stick around. What if you could take one of those guys out of the salary cap? That's to say, either running backs or quarterback. They are not a part of the salary cap, and you can pay them whatever you want.
Yeah, but why?
And I say that because you don't have to lose a guy who's good because of the specter of fear. You lost Saquon Barkley, who came back from injury, ran his tail off, and then you didn't want to pay him, and now he goes somewhere else to help somebody win a Super Bowl. I don't want Bijan Robinson, if he's elite a few years from now, we're in a Super Bowl mode, to leave here because of a money situation.
I know, but what did you do with that money? Did you improve your offensive line? Because your offensive line sure as hell doesn't look like the Philadelphia Eagles where he went.
No.
Right?
But the other thing is, the Eagles don't have to pay their quarter. Well, they gave him his big deal, but he's not making the $60 million a year that Dak Prescott is making.
But even Derrick Henry left. I mean, Derrick Henry's not in the same place that he was, and people thought he was kind of done until he gets to Baltimore, and he has, 1,800 yards last year or something ridiculous like that. That's the problem with this position. Is it's not that folks don't value it; they just don't want to value it long term. They don't want to give the 6-year, $80-some-odd million.
The guy touches about 300 times in a season. You're talking about 5 years and 1,500 touches, and there's too many hits.
And then especially if you go back to where guys were, like if you go back to where guys were in college, think about some of these guys that were getting the ball 250 times in college.
See, I just don't know where the better philosophy is, because you don't want to pay a used up running back when it's time for him to get his money, and then you don't want to overpay early before he does something. But then for the player, and that's why, when I was having a conversation about the NBA players, it's the philosophy is backwards. A guy is beaten up and paid to get beaten up for lesser money than he probably should be. But then when it's time to pay him, you say, no, Saquon Barkley, we can't pay you. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, and that's why you see a lot of teams for a while went to the 2 running back system.
You got to be super special, and there's only a handful of those guys in the NFL.
You think there's only a couple of super special guys?
6, 7, 8.
All right, top guys. 10. Same with quarterbacks. There's only 10 guys that are worth a flip.
Speaking of quarterbacks.
Now you got me thinking. Is there more than 6 or 7 special running backs?
Where do you want to start? Is Alvin Kamara pretty special?
He was.
Yeah, he was.
I agree. He was. No question about it.
I'm just going to go down. Saquon, Derrick Henry, Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs. That might be it.
Yeah.
So 6? What was that, 5 or 6?
Yeah.
New guy in town, Ashton Genty, gets a chance to try to show us something.
Because the rest of the guys, I'm just going down the rushing leaders. Is Kyron Williams special?
I don't know.
He's solid. 1,299 yards a year ago.
That's solid.
Chuba Hubbard.
But he's splitting carries now, Chuba Hubbard.
Aaron Jones, Bucky Irving. These are your 1,000-yard backs a year ago. James Conner, get to the chopper. Tony Pollard, Rico Dowdle, Najee Harris.
Yeah, they're really nice football players.
Is
they're not
James
stars.
Cook special?
He
feels like it.
He had his first big year last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
It's the first time he was really given a chance to have a big year.
He was splitting carries. That's the issue.
You might be right. There might only be 6 or 7 really special elite guys. But somebody like Saquon Barkley should be making $25 million.
I'm not.
If we've got T. Higgins, I'm sorry, if you've got a number 2 receiver on his own team making $30 million, he doesn't have half the impact that Saquon Barkley has. Half. Derrick Henry's not more impactful than damn T. Higgins?
Saquon Barkley chose to not rush for 2,000 yards.
Right.
That's how bad of a man he is.
All right.